Okay, let's jump in. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, a name pretty much everyone knows, Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Jimmy Donaldson. We're looking at some sources like excerpts from MrBeast, the billion-dollar YouTube phenomenon.
Right, trying to figure out how he went from, just a YouTuber to possibly the youngest self-made billionaire under 30. It's kind of wild.
It really is. And our goal here is to unpack what these sources actually say about how we did it, the mechanics behind it all.
Because, you hear billionaire and 27 years old tied to a YouTube creator. It just sounds different, doesn't it?
Totally. The sources estimate around $1 billion net worth at that age.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not just from, like, YouTube ad clicks.
No, seems way more complex.
Absolutely. What's really interesting is how he's built this whole financial world around his YouTube fame.
So the YouTube part is the foundation.
Exactly. Hundreds of millions of subscribers, billions upon billions of views. That alone brings in, significant cash from YouTube's ad revenue sharing. That's the baseline.
But then you see these other numbers popping up in the sources. Brand deals, sponsorships, reportedly like, what, $2.5 to $3 million?
Post shout out, yeah. That's the reported range.
Wow. Okay, so that kind of money. What does that let him do differently?
Well, it directly fuels the main thing, the videos themselves. They get bigger, more elaborate, higher production value. And crucially, it lets him diversify.
Right, branch out. The sources talk about MrBeast Burger.
The delivery-only chain, it just exploded initially, right, using his existing audience. Instant demand.
Yeah, even with that lawsuit later about quality, which the sources do mention, it showed the model worked, at least initially.
Definitely showed the platform's power for direct-to-consumer stuff. And then there's Feastables.
The snack line, chocolate bars and things. Reports say that people pulled in, over $10 million almost immediately?
Right out of the gate, yeah. 10 million plus.
And now there's even like a huge TV show deal.
Exactly. Beast Games on Amazon Prime Video. That's reportedly a $100 million deal. So it's clearly moved way beyond just YouTube ads.
Plus merchandise, I assume.
Oh yeah, merchandise is a big piece too.
Yeah.
It's building separate, huge businesses off the back of that core YouTube audience.
Okay, but funding those videos, giving away islands, cash, cars, where does that specific money come from? It seems astronomical.
This is maybe the most interesting part, according to the sources. It's extreme reinvestment.
Meaning
reports suggest he personally keeps very little, maybe less than $1 million. Almost everything else gets plowed back into making more content or expanding the businesses.
Seriously, it's not typical.
Not at all. But it creates this feedback loop, right? More money means bigger, crazier videos. Bigger videos get more views. More views mean more revenue.
Which she just reinvests again. It's a higher risk, high reward cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And his audience seems to love that spectacle, so it keeps working.
You can almost see the start of that unconventional thinking way back. Sources mention he started YouTube when he was just like 12?
Yeah, super young. And that first video that really blew up in 2017, counting to 100,000.
Right. 40 hours of counting. Simple idea, but just out there. Attention grabbing.
It showed that willingness to do things differently, which is a theme, and that evolved beyond just stunts and business into philanthropy too.
The Beast Philanthropy channel, yeah. That's fascinating. The sources say 100% of its profits go straight to charity.
That's the claim, funding things like huge food donations, adopting entire shelters of dogs, massive toy giveaways.
And it's not hidden away, it's part of the main brand, reaching millions.
So, okay, bring this back to you, the listener. Why does tracking this matter?
Well, it feels like his story really highlights something about, the digital age, how influence and content can build massive value, maybe in ways we didn't expect.
For sure. It's this mix of connecting with an audience, constantly innovating the content, diversifying aggressively, and that relentless reinvestment. It's a case study at least.
So looking at the sources, the key drivers seem to be innovation, community building, smart diversification, that extreme reinvestment, and weaving in actual impact.
Couldn't summarize it better. And that kind of leaves us, and you, with a question to think about.
Okay.
MrBeast built this billion-dollar thing primarily on attention, community, and digital platforms, a path that barely existed, 15, 20 years ago. So how might this kind of unconventional success story start to change how we think about wealth, about influence, and maybe even about what media really is going forward?